song.
Welcome back. Three Guys, Many Games. We got a big week of lacrosse that just happened. I'm here with Rob Smalley and my dear brother Vin. We have a new number one, guys. Richmond. The Spider took over.
Give them the weeks.
It's like
Give them the week. Give them the week, Stephen. What week are we? What week is this?
Well,
give
this
the date today.
coming week will be. Well, today is March 30th, so it's week 9
Monday.
of our picks that finished, and week 10 will be coming up. By the way, it was a bloodbath for Vinny this week in the picks. 1-6. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it's harder to go 1-6 than it is to go 6-1.
I
I think it's harder.
If anybody can do it, I can do it.
What do you think? It's
Steven,
think
you're
I'm getting
making
too
that
far
up.
behind.
I'm telling you,
The expert of all experts
He's
is
in-
1-6.
he's in last.
I gotta admit, I'm laughing because I'm laughing, but you're also gloating. Be honest, are you
Well,
gloating?
Listen, I don't gloat because honestly, I could have a horrible week. He could be in first in another
right.
week. So, who can tell with these games and these teams?
You're right about
I
that.
definitely
These
can.
games are they're all over the place. But the one thing we did establish is that we have a new number one ranked team, and that is the Spider. Smalley's been calling it all year. He's behind the Spider. What do you think, Smalls? That's your new number one.
Well, I think the coach is under the radar. They got a coaching staff that all they do is win now. They took Cornell last year to a 1-goal game at Hofstra. He really hasn't got the credit the guy deserves. I'm a victim of doing it too. I talk about the Dukes, the North Carolina, and all the good teams, and we don't really dwell on Richmond. The Spider has landed, and he's now considered the Black Widow.
Well, but now you got a massive test for all. It's just happening at a perfect time. Saturday they got to play Notre Dame in Chicago. So, that's a battle of what's Notre Dame. What did they drop to, Vin?
4.
Notre Dame went down to number 4.
Okay, so now you got a number 1 versus a number 4. Probably the highlighted game of the week.
I'm going with Richmond. I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know
Probably
if that's
gonna be a
a
1.5.
highlighted game. The highlighted game of the week may
It's
be
gonna be a
Syracuse
1.
and Carolina.
That's another highlighted game of the week. Obviously,
No
you
way.
got
I just
one-
think it's got to be Richmond and North.
Well, you got 1 versus 4, and you got 2 versus 3 this weekend. So that's 2 pretty heavy-duty games right there.
Yeah, that's as high-ranked games as you can get. You got the top 4 going, at each other.
I think Richmond's going to win that game. I really believe in Richmond. They're hotter than hot. I mean, come on. You look at the last 2 years, the way he's been playing in big games, he's come up big. This coach can game plan. Listen, he might be coach of the year. This guy's unbelievable.
The one thing you could say is they're figuring out ways to win, right, Vin? I mean, they've won, and they're beating teams up pretty bad. Granted their schedule, they don't play the strongest schedule, and after this game against Notre Dame, they don't really, you would imagine, have too much resistance because then they play St. Bonaventure, St. Joseph's, High Point. So it's realistic that it's possible they could be going into the NCAA tournament undefeated if they beat Notre Dame.
Yeah, I would say that's probably likely.
Is that more pressure, do you think, on a team like Richmond to have to enter some of the key NCAA games potentially undefeated?
I don't think so. I
don't
think
either.
the
I don't
coaching
think it's going to
staff
affect them.
is just,
Boy, this guy. I think you better
I
put your
think they're
ice cream down
level-headed.
for a little bit before it starts dripping down your chin and we have a mess over here. Can you stop eating for a little bit? What do you think? Can you, for maybe just 5
Hey, my
minutes,
ice
stop
cream.
eating?
It's some act.
He's eating his
I'm glad it's
Haagen-Dazs
too much. Oh, he got.
All
I'm
right,
just about done. Yeah,
I'm
but
going to give you
back.
my view on the thing, Stephen. I think Richmond, if they win this week and they run the table and they're undefeated going into the playoffs, I think they get the 1 seed for the playoffs. I'm talking about the national,
Right.
not their conference. And
Right.
I think at worst they get is number 2. If they're undefeated, they got to be 1 or 2 with the seeding, right? And then I think with the seeding, maybe the team that emerges out of the ACC, whoever wins that ACC, which right now, I mean, it's pretty tough to tell who could win that ACC. Virginia has a resurgence. Smalley has called for the resurgence of Virginia. He said they would come back.
Well, listen, I tell you, the way they're playing, you got to really say, really, I mean, I watch on the internet, everybody's saying stuff, calling for the guys' heads, As soon as you don't do good, everybody calls for your head now. I mean, coach has been there. If he comes back and he gets the playoffs and he makes the Final Four, listen, anything can happen. Anything's possible.
But that's why it shows you it's a long season. There's ups and
Right,
downs. There's guys
correct.
get hurt, they get healthy, they come back. Virginia, yeah, they put the game, they beat Notre Dame, and they look good. I think Virginia, offensively, they're as talented as most teams in the country. They can score. We know that they have an ability to score. They got the Millen brothers. They got a lot of pieces there.
What about Colsey? Is he still playing? He's healthy, right?
He's still playing. So they do have that. What's the other guys? Sunderland. He's a nice little player. They just have a lot of good players. Man, Balsamo jumps in there. He adds to the equation. They have a lot of guys that offensively. The question mark has always been defensively this year, and they seem to be playing better.
Last game they stepped up much better. Listen, sometimes it takes time. Maybe it was the turn. This is their turning point. You know.
Their
And
defense,
that
their
makes it.
defense
How
looked
about
much better
Terenzi
this
from Long
weekend.
Island? Joe Terenzi.
I was going to say, and Joey Terenzi, I think Terenzi gave them a spark. Since he's back in the lineup, he
Right.
had 2 big goals in this game. Tight game. He scored 2 big ones against Notre Dame. One at the end of a shot clock. He caught a pass, falling down. He put it in. So don't count them out. I mean, they're going to
And
be
he's playing a lot of
fighting
offense.
to
He's
prevent.
he's one of my former players, isn't he, Vinny?
That's right.
Yeah.
Smalley coached him.
He's one of my former players.
He is. He is.
He
No, but he reminds me of the Road Runner.
he is the road.
He's so fast. His legs move so fast.
He is
He
playing
plays
a
with
lot
a lot of
more on
energy,
the
that's for
offensive
sure.
end. I didn't think he was going to play.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was going to play as much offense.
Have you guys? I haven't heard much. You guys talking about Maryland and my dear friend Tillman. I mean, last week there's one player on their team had 8 goals or 8 points. I'm not sure. He seems to be getting healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Could Maryland make a surge?
Mr. Spanos is back with the 8 goals. They
Spanos,
beat
yeah.
down Michigan, and when you think about Maryland and the tough schedule that they've had to play, and they were banged up and beat up a little bit in the beginning of the season, and normally he makes his run at the end of the season anyway. Why not them?
Can John Tillman make the unthinkable? Can he make a run when I heard people on the internet, they can't do it? Can he come out of the woods? I mean, it's a long road, man. He's got 4 games with all 4 teams in the ACC. He's got to play, right? He's got to play Virginia, right? Again, right?
No, he doesn't play. He's in the Big Ten.
No, not Virginia.
Get your conference.
They're in the Big Ten.
Hold on a second. I'm saying, but he has games. Doesn't he have games left with people in the ACC?
No, he's got all Big Ten
No.
games.
It's all Big Ten now.
Yeah, he's got
Ohio State. He's got Ohio State, Rutgers, and Hopkins.
I think
all 3 tough games.
those are possible wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could beat all 3 of those teams.
He could win all those games, and he could be 7-4 going into the Big Ten tournament. Which then you win one or two games there, he's right back in the mix.
So wait, the Big Ten gets an automatic qualifier,
Yes,
but
Yes,
the ACC doesn't, correct?
right,
Well, you
technically,
said yes. He said
technically doesn't, but that's a technicality because they're so strong. They're going to get teams in no matter what. So it's not automatic, but
so. You think it's unfair? They can have 4 teams in, and say somebody like the Ivy League can only have one. Is that right? I mean, that's crazy. You're looking
I
at.
don't think that'll happen. I don't think that'll happen, but it's possible.
I mean, it's crazy. But you're right, Ben. The next 3 weeks will determine a lot on this thing. What's happening?
I don't. I have a problem. He'll be for your clip. I have a little bit of a problem with the RPI because, and this is where it goes to where somebody does have a strong schedule or in a strong conference. If they establish you early as the strong team and you're only playing strong teams and you're winning for the most part, you might take a loss. You take a loss to one of those other strong teams, you don't go down. So how do the teams go up? The strong will always be, low or high, however you put it on the RPI. They're always going to be. So to automatically think, because they'll say, well, that division is a strong division. You have to really look at the interconference. How is the ACC done against the Ivy League? And how is the ACC
Not good.
done against the Big Ten? Well, we know one thing. The Ivy League didn't do well against the Big Ten, certainly with Penn State, because they got 3 losses there. Harvard got killed by North Carolina, so that didn't bode well for the Ivy League. So does the Ivy League, Vin, does the Ivy League bop down to what might have been considered potentially 3 teams and maybe be 2 teams?
I think it'll go to 2 teams.
You gotta give Vin a chance to, Johnny Lag, you gotta give him a chance to answer because he's missed the lag. So if we ask him a question, you gotta give him a second.
I think, Yale had a good game this week beating Cornell, but I still think that if I was looking at who I think is going to be there from the Ivies, it's going to be Cornell, Harvard, and Princeton. I think those 3 have about the best chance to make it. Yeah. And that could possibly, depending on how other things shake out with these other conferences, it could go down to 2. But I think if, should they give the Ivies 3 before they give another conference 4? I think you got to consider that.
Well, then that would mean, under your logic, if Ivy League gets 3, then the ACC wouldn't get 4.
Right. Most likely they'd get 3 at that point.
That would be a tough. Look at the teams you potentially be leaving out. Who are your 3 ACC temes?
Well, people would have thought Virginia would be out already. People thought that they were finished, but we're not kicking them to the curb just yet. But theoretically, if they were the one that was out, if they were the ones that were out, then you got down to, if it was going to be 3, now you got Duke, Notre Dame, Carolina, and who's the other one? Who am I missing? Duke, Notre Dame, Carolina. Syracuse. Yeah, I mean, can all 4 of those make it? Those are all good. Those are all good teams. That's why, we talked about this last year. We come full circle. We talked about expanding this tournament out. Put these teams. That's why these conference tournaments, I'm not big on these conference tournaments. I rather see these guys, after they've played their conference schedule or be all mixed in, play some out of conference and then just do it on the rankings. The conference play-in type thing, you get bid stealers and everything else, and a team gets knocked out. They had a great year. What was the one year? What did Army have? 1 loss, but they lost in their 1 or 2 losses, and they lost in their conference, and they got knocked out. Come on, that was kind of rough. The year Notre Dame got knocked out, back to back, they probably.
Maybe what they have to do is like you're saying, get rid of the conferences, make the whatever through the round robin of games, whoever has the best record and come up with some tiebreaker system, that becomes the automatic qualifier, and then you don't have to play the conference. Once everybody plays each other, you give them the automatic bid. What do you think about that, Smalls? You're an expert in the basketball bracket.
I don't even know. It's so hard. It goes back and forth. I don't know. I don't really know what's the best
If
at this point.
Smalley was in charge, they'd have 72 teams in the lacrosse bracket because he doesn't want to be. He
You'd
doesn't
have
want to be
more,
mad to anybody, so he would have them all in.
right? You'd have more. You'd have to expand it. Definitely, you have to expand it. I mean, it gotta. I just think the lacrosse is not doing a good enough job, whatever they're doing, because you got sports, all these other sports that are passing it. They get TV time. There's a lot of, I don't know what they're doing. We should be expanding the sport. I don't know who our people are behind this, but we're not expanding.
Well, Smalls,
You
just
need,
so you know, in terms of the NCAA, they have a formula with depending on how many teams there are. That's how they come up with the number to be in the playoffs. So they have it like a certain percentage. That's why there's whatever there is in basketball, why there's 68 teams or whatever that get in. They have the math. If they all of a sudden had twice as many Division One basketball teams, then the tournament would be 128 teams, I'm sure.
it might be like that someday when they split up.
Yeah,
You know,
they're getting close now with these added programs and some of these D2s that went D1. They're getting close to having to really consider at that time to expand the field. So what is it, 18 now? They're going to have to look to go to that.
well, they'll run their own tournaments. You get all like the Pac-10 and people. They run their own tournaments. It won't even be the NCAA anymore. They'll have their own body of. I mean, there's so many teams. You're right. There's just so many. There's so many teams.
Let's stick to where we are with the lacrosse. We're getting all over the place. I would just say I think they should add a few play-in games in lacrosse. So teams that are like bubble teams, that these first out 2, 3 teams could still have a chance. Because after you get down to like, those play-in teams or those automatic qualifying teams, to keep those other teams out of the picture, it stinks, because they are better. Those teams from those very strong conferences are better than those other teams that are winning those lesser conferences. I'm not knocking. They're coming up. They're doing well. There's 2 undefeated teams right now, right? There's Richmond, and there's the team that's in Hofstra's conference. They just beat Hofstra.
Sacred Heart.
Sacred Heart. Aren't they undefeated?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know
They
what
just made the
Sacred
top
Heart.
20
They.
for the first time.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying because they're undefeated. But could they beat Notre Dame? Could they beat Syracuse? Could they beat Duke? Could they beat Princeton? Could they beat Harvard?
They could.
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think they're ready for prime time. I don't think they're that good yet. I don't see it. So
Give
what I'm
them a
saying
chance,
is
baby.
they're
Let's see
going to
what
get
they.
in. There's going to be, last year didn't Crawley with High Point, didn't they get into the playoffs? So they got close. Did they win their conference last year, or they were close? I forget if they were. No, they might be in the Richmond conference.
Yeah, Richmond won. They made it to the finals.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they made it to the finals. So I'm saying, so let's say there was an upset and High Point wins. You put High Point. I don't know. I just think I would add. I don't think you got to go crazy. I think if you only added about another 2 to 3 play-in games, and I'm not saying play-in games, that means 6 teams. I'm talking about another 3 teams below where they are now, and let them play play-in games. And I think that would make it a little fairer and a little more exciting. And I wouldn't be surprised if one of these teams at the end of the year could win a couple of those. They win a playing game maybe, and then I think they could win a first round game, depending on who they played.
You got to remember the reason why they created these automatic bids. You know who the first Smalley? Do you know who the first automatic qualifier team was in
Yes.
lacrosse?
Yes, I do.
You do?
Yep.
Who was it?
Hofstra. No, Johns Hopkins.
No, used to do a thing where it was they had the rankings, they picked all the things based on the rankings, and then automatically either Notre Dame or Denver was in. They had a team from the West when Notre Dame wasn't really that strong at first. And they had Notre Dame. It was, and then it sort of expanded from there with then these conferences came about. And the thought process behind the conferences is that having the ability and entry to the NCAA will improve all these other divisions, because kids will say maybe they're not going to end up at Syracuse or North Carolina, but they'll go to these other schools. They'll go to Towson, and Towson will win their conference and be in the NCAA. And the truth is, that's true. But like the NCAA normally does, then they tripped all over themselves, because everything they did good to create the parity through the automatic qualifiers was destroyed with the transfer portal and NIL. That's basically, it's basically working against each other.
The other thing, Stephen, what also happened was, you had some realignment. Notre Dame was at one time in the Big East. They went into the ACC.
Right.
Syracuse was in the Big. They went to the, teams. Maryland historically was in the ACC. They went into the Big Ten. So there was realignment with the lacrosse, even though it doesn't it doesn't always match with what the football conferences are. Those colleges could be in a one conference for football and a different conference for lacrosse. So, Hopkins years ago was an independent, for years. They weren't in any conference, right?
The only
Big Ten.
Only point I'm making, and you're right, there's another example of that, was when Hopkins, who was always independent, when they started not being able to make the tournament, they're like, God, we better get in the Big Ten. It'll be the only way back into the tournament, potentially. So that became a little bit of an enticement to get them in there. The point I'm making is the automatic bid and these conferences was to grow the game and make the teams more competitive, which it was doing. And then the transfer portal thing completely blew it up. So now what you only have is, now you have kids, you almost have the three main conferences and everybody else is a starter conference. Because the kids leave. Mm-hmm. If you one of those lower conferences, they find a stud. They get some kid. He's under the radar, and he's a stud. He comes there as a freshman, and he's dominating for whoever it might be. Quinnipiac, whoever. All of a sudden, that guy's out of there in a year. And he's got people knocking on his door to do so. So how does that help those other conferences? How can you make these other conferences? There'll always be one-bid conferences. They're never gonna, with NIL and the transfer portal, those teams probably outside the top three conferences, which we know are ACC, Big Ten, and Ivy League, will never break through. And the one outlier in all of this is Richmond, who's sitting at number one.
Yeah.
Because that's Smalley's team now.
Hey, listen, if they win it all, that will go down in history. That will be actually history made in the makings.
It really would be unbelievable. I think it's unbelievable if anybody out of those top three conferences could actually win it. If they could actually win it, anybody outside of those top three conferences, that to me would be unreal.
Well,
because what conference has a team that could do it?
Well, Charlie Toomey did it with Loyola one time, and a Denver or a Georgetown, Denver's done it. Coming out of the Big East, right? They did it.
What year did Denver win and Loyola? They probably won in 2012. They probably won 14
Yeah,
years
no,
ago.
it's
That
been
was way before
the last time they
NIL
won.
and any of that.
Yeah, no, it's been quite a while ago, but I think a couple of years ago they were in the Final Four, didn't they? Trying to remember, they
I
played
don't
it. They
think.
played Notre Dame, and they played Notre Dame in a Final Four game. Not
No, that was
how
the
many years
game that
ago?
was overtime.
No, I don't think it was overtime. They played them. They played them. We were there. I think they played them just a couple of years ago in the Final Four when the Cavanaughs were on the team. Denver gave them a pretty good go. Was close for a while.
Right, Denver. No, no, yeah, no. 2 years ago, Denver
Yeah,
was
that's
there.
what I said. Denver. Did I not?
Yeah.
Did I
No,
not
you.
say
I
Denver?
thought
I
you
thought I
said
said Denver.
Loyola. No, you said Loyola.
No, I said I just used Loyola as a team that broke through,
Right.
but I was saying that Denver was another one of the teams like that. But
Yeah,
they've been
Denver
there.
got through there. Well, I would say that if you would argue again of these conferences, the next one you might say, you probably would say it was Big East because of Georgetown and Denver.
Yeah,
You could argue Patriot. You could argue Patriot League has got some good teams.
There's so many players now. That's the thing. On all these different teams, you got the two guys from Long Island that left. What's that school with the C on it? They're playing for Georgetown. I mean, they might be struggling a little bit, but they're so good too. There's so many good teams. Maybe this is what it's going to
yeah.
be in the future. So much parity. We don't even know who's on. We talk about all these teams. We don't even know who's on. Who's on Richmond? You couldn't even name three guys. I could go to anybody.
No,
There's
like
any three
no,
guys on
what
Richmond.
well, you were talking about Colgate, who won a first round game last year. They played pretty well, Colgate, last year. But no, you're not wrong. I mean, like Steven said before, these guys, if you're a freshman, you're going into one of these schools and you're not really playing a lot, and you can save your year of eligibility just playing on a college team, and then you want to go to grad school, and by the time you're a senior, you blossomed into a real player that can help a team, gives you opportunity to go to one of these schools that has one of these, 1 year business programs or something like that.
Smalley,
And it's great for these kids. Uh-oh. He hit a
Smalley
button.
stopped recording. What did you hit?
Nothing.
He hit a
Somebody was
button again.
calling.
Oh, that's of course.
I was trying for once in my life. I was trying to be actually a little quiet today, whatever, because I'm in a sad mode. Not really a sad mode. I'm supposed to be going to the Final Four, but it looks like I'm getting knocked out. So I don't know what's happening. So
Why would you go? Who are you
Final
going to
Four
go? Every one of
basketball,
your
you mean?
teams is out.
Your
no,
Johnny's,
not
your
everyone.
Johnny's got beat.
Yeah, I just love it, man. It's something in my blood. Like if I could die on the basketball court eating a bowl of Haagen-Dazs ice cream, I'd love it, man. Because I love sitting there watching. I can watch 5 games in a row of basketball and sit there with popcorn, Cracker Jacks. I mean, it's just amazing.
It
I
always
really, I
comes,
really
Vin, it
enjoy the
always comes
sport.
back to food. It always
Well,
comes back
yeah,
to
I got fat.
food.
Yeah.
I grew up. I never had food in the house. We were from Manhasset, all those rich towns. We were from Levittown. I grew up with
What was in the cabinet? What was in the cabinet?
sugar water, and salt cakes.
Sugar water and salt cakes.
Yeah, we didn't have much. 5 kids fighting every day. My brother hit me in the head. I hated. Listen to me. And all due respect, and I'm picking on the Manhassets and the Paul Washingtons where you guys live. But honestly, I hated you guys. We go to ball games. Like I said, my father would come. He'd have his Lucky Strikes with a T-shirt on, rolled up with a pack of cigarettes here, and you guys were getting off the train with the Wall Street Journal in your hand. Worth millions of dollars. You never looked at us.
Yeah.
You never said hello.
So Stephen, again, he's making up stories. His father, Lucky Strike in his sleeve. His father was the number one guy graduate from Chaminade. He worked at a big company. He
Right.
was one of the top executives, and now he's Lucky Strikes with a T-shirt at a game. Come on, stop it.
Well, hold on. Really, that's not true. My dad did work. He worked for the law publishing company. He had a big job, but he had gotten sick when he was about 38 years old, like that. And he couldn't take a big job, so we wound up living in Levittown. I thought we were gonna move to Garden City. Oh, we were ready to go, but that was it. We got stuck in Levittown, and who do I meet? Keith Richards. I got a guy that looks like Keith Richards, Bobby Barniello right now.
Keith Richards.
Anyway, we're getting off track here, but yeah. No,
So wait, I want to talk about a couple of the games and a couple of the games that were pretty tight and you could argue ended a little bit not controversially. Syracuse up in the Dome was a great game with Duke. I watched most of it. Two tremendous teams. You know, Syracuse is tough to play in the Dome, and they come out with a 1-goal win. They got up a couple. Duke made a late charge, and a little bit of a controversial call at the end of that game. And what did you think of that call, Vin?
Well, let me go back a little bit because I think that most people felt like Duke was untested, that their schedule was watered down, that they hadn't really beaten anybody, even though they're putting up big numbers. So this was going to be really their first true test of the season, playing Syracuse in the Dome, where they haven't had a lot of luck other than a few years ago when they won that game in overtime when Charles Balsamo scored that goal running down the alley to win that game. That was the first time they ever beat them in the Dome, and the last time they beat them there.
Time. Yeah.
So going up there, you knew it was going to be a challenge for them. And again, they were like an unproven team to a lot of people. But I thought that they really showed that they're the real deal in that game. You know, I thought that they scrapped and fought hard. And like you said, Syracuse is difficult for anybody to beat in the Dome. They don't lose too often in the Dome. But they were right there with them, Duke. You know, throwing punches, making big plays when they had to. Even when Syracuse came back and went on typical Syracuse 2-3 goal runs that they do. And, you know, so it came down to the end and the play you're referring to, you know, Duke's got the ball with a chance to tie and a timeout. And they come out and whatever they were really trying to run on that side, you know, looking at the goal on the left-hand side, they kind of went into like a two-man where a guy was going to try to set a pick. But then he kind of, I don't know, he bailed on the pick. Maybe he thought he was moving a little, so he didn't want to make contact. And so he like dove out of the way, and the ref blew the whistle and called a moving pick anyway, which, you know, we took a little poll. I know you had it up on whether or not I thought more people thought it was not a moving pick than did. But, you know, and I guess
close,
from a referee standpoint, you're not supposed to.
It was close.
Yeah, no, but from a referee standpoint, you know, you're supposed to call a game, I guess, consistent all the way through. Doesn't matter the score and all of that. But to see that end for them that way with a moving pick that I felt was 50-50. Honestly, other than the kid went to the ground, there were a lot more moving picks in that game than what that kid did. You know, and they didn't call them all games. So the consistency to me is not there. And especially down, you know, with less than 30 seconds in a game to blow the whistle and take it away and end the game, I didn't think was right. I thought he should.
What is actually the rule? What is actually the rule?
You got to read the rule book.
Well, to me,
somebody's got to have a rule book with it.
To me, well, all right. If we could read the rule book, but I'll give you what I think the rule is. If you don't make contact with somebody and you're just running and you don't even make contact, I don't know how you could call it a moving pick. A pick is there so that the guy does run into you. You know, that's what you're trying to accomplish with a pick, that a guy actually runs into you. If a guy runs around you, every game, doesn't a guy go underneath the pick? You know, if you're standing still, aren't they always moving a little bit? I mean, I just think that was a very tough call to make at the time. The rule, if you want to say, well, what do you think?
Listen, I'm not reading the rule book. I cannot tip, but what I can tell you is he was running there. He didn't stay stationary at all. He very slightly, I mean, he could have not called it, but very slightly, he hit part of the stick, if you watch the play, and he touched the bottom of it. It's a moving pick. He slammed it. And also, what I think they look at now, I know you're going to slam me for this, is they look like intent injury. He's going to run into the guy. They don't want injuries on a moving pick. It's like they run into the guy, and he wasn't stationary at all. Then he falls down. It's like
Hey, let me just say two things on what Smalley said and what annoys me about how they do these things with the picks also. Let me just say a couple of things. Number one, watch 100 games where defensemen run over guys. They run over the pick. When I say run them over, I'm not talking like running around them. I'm talking running through the person. The guy is standing there picking, and they make the contact. So I'm saying, like, even on that play where Smalley's pointing out that the guy's stick, I'm saying the guy might have initiated the contact there.
that happens.
The second point I want to make on the guy, the way he went to the ground, it looked like he avoided him. Is what's the difference? He did it a little more sneakily because it looked weird the way he kind of went out of his way. What's the difference between that and when they slip a pick? Except that he kind of fell to the ground. What was the difference between that and slipping a pick?
Because the rule is you're supposed to be somewhat stationary, at least for a short amount of time. You're setting a false flag. Like it's like
he was stationary. I thought he was stationary for a short period of time. I thought it looked to me like he saw that guy barreling down and he was big, and the guy said in the picture was a little bit small.
Exactly.
And he was like, I'm bailing here.
Smalls, if he would have stood there and the guy barreled down and bowled him over, and then they end up switching or whatever, and the guy's knocked down onto the ground, should that be a penalty?
Yeah, like I said, the rules now. This is why everything's changing. You gotta. I don't know the rule book. Somebody should actually have a rule book in every game now to pull it out to see what's going on to teach people. We don't do that. Everybody's speculating like us. In all due respect,
I'm pretty sure.
We're having fun on the podcast.
I'm pretty sure they got rule books at the game. I think at the box they have a rule book. I think the refs know the rules, but I mean, I think if they had to look it up during the game, there is a rule book there somewhere.
But they're not on top of it. So you can have rules, but if you don't talk about them and no one knows what they are, you got all kinds of people throwing, yelling, this, that. No one knows the rules. Coaches don't read rule books.
But if you run at a guy, Smalls, just imagine you're a guy making like you're running to go set a pick, and you're going to torpedo the guy's knees, and you dive, but you miss him. You on purpose. Is it a moving pick with no contact?
It was a very slight. You could not call it. Yes, the answer is yes. It's like when you're playing basketball and the guy goes up and he touches him slightly. You can let it go or it's a foul. This is the problem with basketball too. Like that. He touched his stick. I saw it very slightly, but he called it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
these guys.
You're saying he touched his stick. It looked more to me like he reached his hands out to the kid and brushed on him.
Yes, look, that's what he did, which is what they normally do.
All I'm saying is, it's a very. I don't like the call coming out of the timeout. What they were trying to run, I don't know what they were trying to run. It didn't look effective anyway. Looked a little ugly anyway.
Yeah, why did he do that anyway?
I don't know. That's what they ran, but I just thought that, I hate to watch a game, a 60-minute game, that these kids, they play so hard all the way through, and there's so many plays similar to that throughout the game that they don't call, and then the guy calls it in the last 20 seconds, if that,
Man, they do in the playoffs. Hitting in the head, it's a 2-minute, stepping in the crease. How about 2 years ago with Duke? Getting into the playoffs, the guy steps in the crease. They have no feedback on it. Guy's looking at a little screen. We're backwards. We should have a guy with a rule book sitting there with his eyeglasses on and read the rules. People don't even know him.
Well, I don't think that call's not changing on a rule book. That call's changing on interpretation of what the guy saw. And that can go, like I said, that I don't know.
Well, that was definitely very slightly. You could get into the whole minutia. What it was a moving pick. It was very slight. You might think it's a Bush League call. Some people, I understand it. Late in the game, in the championship game, is it going to happen? Is he going to call it? Probably not. You're tired. It goes into overtime. That's it. Not going to call it. But you're in the dome. You got them playing them. It's a house call, maybe. I don't know who was refing the game. Who was refing the
I know
game?
it's just
Let's go to the guy and
I don't
ask
know,
him.
but it's just a very tough call to lose on. I mean, if I'm Duke, you play your hearts out. You just want to get a chance to score at the end.
But
get a
who even
shot
runs
off
a
or
play
something.
like that? The guy ran like a jackass. The
Well,
guy's running and he
listen,
does like a, well, what was he doing? Tumbling?
yeah, well, I don't
Tumbling
blame him. I
class?
mean,
What was
look,
he in?
don't blame the kid. I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, like I said, this happens throughout the game a million times. Whether they call it. Let me ask you something. When you say whether there's to be a moving pick, there has to be some kind of contact to be a moving pick. That's my opinion. Maybe the rule doesn't say that. Maybe the rule says that if you're running and you don't even touch anybody, they can still call it a moving pick. I don't know. But if that's the case, so what's the difference between that and they're calling a slash? Guy takes a swing, but he don't even touch the guy. He tries to hit the guy in the head with his stick and he whiffs. Do you call a penalty? Because, oh, well, you almost hit him. You're not going to give a guy a penalty for missing. I mean, they're all
That's
game
another
long,
thing.
guys.
There's so many
checks.
slashes in the game.
Well, that's what
Correct.
I'm saying. So
Correct.
how do you?
I agree with
Did
that.
you
With
see?
all the physicality that went on in that game, to call that play, listen. Joey Spallina, he went underneath at the end of a shot clock to get a shot off,
Yes,
and he drew
I
a
was just gonna
penalty,
say
and
that.
they made
Right.
it a 1 minute non-releasable, right? So, they called it. He got hit to the head, and that was the right call. Some people would
I'll tell you one,
argue
you're
it
right
was a
about
hit to
that.
the head, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't have been a non-releasable. They said it should have just been a minute penalty, not a non-releasable. So, I mean, there's discretion from the referees. And I'm just
Or
saying,
what about?
you know,
Or what about? Or what about Vin on that? What about the fact of when you're changing levels, he's going down and another guy's going across? It's like in football
right.
when they say, you know,
Yeah,
does it become a penalty if you're going
right.
down? Where's the guy? If he's coming to hit you already, where's he going to hit you? Of course, it's going to get hit a
Yeah,
little in the head.
listen, I'm not picking on the refs because it's a very tough job. We're watching on TV with slow-mo and everything else. But I guess that moving pick play that ended the game, I guess that's not a reviewable call because they didn't review it. They couldn't argue it and say, review it.
No, I don't
You
think you
know, that
can.
the
No,
call.
I don't think
Can I
you can do
read,
that.
gentlemen? Can I read something that might clarify something? Maybe I could come up with something good here.
Go ahead.
May I have the floor? Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
In lacrosse, a moving pick
Yeah.
is an illegal screen. Let me start. In lacrosse, a moving pick is a. There's something. I'm sorry for laughing. It's a fucking something buzzing.
Reading is
I might have the only
fundamental.
fly. Oh, the video. I got the only fly in here eating my Haagen-Dazs ice cream, the fucking thing, and it's buzzing in here. Look with the paper. My
I
life.
think the
Let me
fly
finish. I was
flew
trying to
into
be
his
serious.
mouth. I think it flew into his mouth.
Billy, Billy, you can't
Oh,
make this
God.
shit up. You're the
The
only
guy's going to
fly.
swallow a
They're
fly
not even
now.
born yet, the flies. I'm sorry, this is a good one. Just listen. In lacrosse, a moving pick is an illegal screen where the player, listen to this, where the player is setting the pick, is in motion or fails to set his feet. That's exactly what happened. He failed, usually resulting in an offensive foul. Legal picks require the player to be stationary, feet set, with feet shoulder width apart, and arms providing defender time and space to react. There it is, right there.
But it doesn't say
Yep.
anything about
Well,
contact.
right.
It's not saying anything about contact. What you just read to me, I would be arguing that sounds like they're assuming that somebody bumps into the pick, not goes around it.
Right. It's a
You see
complicated
some
play.
guys.
This is why.
You see smart basketball players when a guy is kind of on a moving pick, they actually run into the guy on purpose, so they get the call. He didn't really run into the kid. That's all I'm saying. But it looked weird where the ref was when he called it. I think he thought there was more contact than there was because he was behind it. I think the ref was closer to the sideline when he called that. He was behind. He was
Right.
on the back side of it, not on the side, on where the kid was coming from. So listen, at the end of the day, we're spending a lot of time on it, but it's a bang bang call. The guy made it. It caused Duke, a chance to tie. It doesn't necessarily mean they would have won the game or not. But I just,
Right.
as
Right.
a competitor, I think those kids, they played so hard and to not get a chance. And listen, players make a zillion mistakes. Coaches make a million mistakes. Refs can make a mistake too. That's just the nature of the beast. Got to accept that they're going to make mistakes too. It's human error. And they've tried their best since that time when you said the Duke guy ran into the crease and they didn't call it that year in the Final Four. Penn State was the loser on that one. But they've adopted.
We have the technology. We got AI. We don't use it.
Everything is, they try to do their best. Look, the one thing, I got no complaints. I think everybody, they always continue to try to make things better, and get a cleaner game. But, it's a sport. Guys are diving, guys are pushing, guys are leaning. Stuff's going to happen.
So Smalls, the other game your team was back, Carolina. I thought you should have went to try to go see this game. Carolina,
I would have loved to gone.
put a thumping on Harvard. Harvard took their first loss and got thumped.
Yeah, some people say it's not bad to get a loss. I don't see them going undefeated. It's a good team to take a loss to. I mean, they're very talented. So I don't know how much ground they're going to lose. They didn't play great. Okay. They came out swinging. What were they, 11-0 or something? What were they?
8-0.
No, not that much, but
Wait,
I will
okay.
say,
So they're 8-1?
I will say
they're
they seem to get punished pretty good for losing that game. They went from 2 to 7. They dropped 5 spots, They dropped 5 spots with that loss.
Well,
that was a little harsh, I thought. They still would have been up a little higher.
Real test now for them really comes with the Ivy League. They got
the Ivy League tournament, yeah.
You got Brown, Yale, Princeton, Cornell for them, right in a row. That's a tough little stretch. Those Ivy games are always competitive.
Yeah.
As you can see, because Cornell lost to Yale.
1 second, Jets. Be right back.
So then, the Ivy League, Cornell gets a big day up there, up at Cornell. Here he goes. Look at that warehouse he's got.
Something to do.
Where did he go?
So yeah, I mean, look, Duke coming off a loss, right? Duke coming off a loss to Syracuse. They got Virginia, who ended up coming off a big win, and then they got Cornell, Notre Dame, and UNC. So if everybody was complaining about Duke's schedule, it's loaded down the stretch, And that's why I say when guys get all bent out of shape, they didn't play anybody and you're in week 8 or 9 or whatever. It doesn't matter. Sooner or later, they're going to be playing in each other and you're going to see the cream's going to rise to the top. And it's going to be who can get it together the best. The weather's going to start changing. They're going to be playing in warmer weather now, hopefully. I would think it will. But, who can travel better? And it's important for the seeding. It's going to be important for seeding for teams. If you can win your conference and get a better seed for the NCAA tournament and avoid maybe, not having to play one of the teams that is hot at the time, that's a plus.
Right. Well, and this goes again, like you said, about the conferences. If you look at we're talking about the Ivy League, and you see how many teams are there that are very, very strong teams. But I was thinking, even going back, like when you look at Big East, you got Georgetown 4-4, Denver 4-5. It's unbelievable. Like just even within, that's a decent division, and yet all the teams have pretty pedestrian records right now.
Yeah. I was a little shocked the way Georgetown handled Denver, because even in the games that Denver lost to some very good teams, they were in the game. They played tough defense.
Right.
Georgetown steamrolled them. I was surprised at that.
Right. Well,
Especially, and how do
I
you figure
spoke to
that?
Joe. That what?
You spoke to Corello, you said?
I spoke to Corello. He said, that they were gearing up. They felt like they had a good week of practice, and he was confident. That's why I was confident. I picked them to win. You guys went the other way, but you know, look at that. You know who actually is the only team with an overall winning record in the Big East, where you could say more wins than losses? Who do you think, Smalls?
Marquette,
In the Big East?
Villanova.
Marquette, 5-5. Marquette 5-4. Denver and Villanova are 4-5. Georgetown's 4-4. Marquette's 5-4. Providence is 4-7, and St. John's is 2-8. So, I mean, look at that. And they're all like right now because they're just getting started within the conference. They're all, this is where the conference is going to shake everything out. That's how this is going to go down. The next few weeks, this is the March and April madness of college.
What, they got 8 games left? 8 to 10 games left?
Not even.
Well, I don't think so.
Not even.
Teams. No.
I think teams I just looked at the top 10 teams, after today's poll. The top 10 teams have 40 games left. 32 of them are within the conference. Only 8 games are where teams are playing out of their conference. The most games anybody has left to play is 5 before the conference play. 5. And that'll do the seeding for the conference. But most of them have 4. Richmond has 4 games left. Carolina has 4 games left. Syracuse has 4 games left. Notre Dame has 4 games left. Penn State has 3 games left. Harvard has 4. Duke has 4. Ohio State has 4. And Cornell has a little more. They're the most. They got 5. So that's what you're talking about, And then you go into conference play. And some of these teams, there is a chance that in this top 10, somebody might not make the conference. There's a chance they might not make their conference playoffs.
Who would that be?
So
who would that be, you think?
Virginia.
It could be an ACC team if Virginia gets hot, right? I mean, if Virginia gets hot and wins a few games, somebody's going to be the odd man out from this top 10. Because right now you got the ACC and on these rankings, you got an ACC 2, 3, and 4.
Right. But the more important stat for that is, like, for example, Syracuse and Virginia have 1 ACC win. Duke and Notre Dame have 1 ACC loss. So it's just really starting.
Right. Does Syracuse play Virginia again? Do they play each other again?
Not maybe in the tournament, possibly.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
So Syracuse hasn't played Virginia yet.
They haven't played them yet.
Yeah, Syracuse.
Okay, got them the last game of the year then. All right.
Not last game.
That's the last game of the year, I think.
Syracuse is playing Carolina this week. Yeah. No, I mean, what if Syracuse were to lose to UNC, UVA, and Notre Dame? What if they were to lose?
Well, if you're losing, you're going to get out. You're going to get out.
That's what I'm saying.
You're going to be out.
No, they won't.
And I mean, none of those games are gimmies.
Those other teams, yeah, but they're going to lose too because they're playing each other. So the other teams are going to lose to other teams, and their RPI will be higher. Aren't they going to use a little of that?
Well, that's the reason why they're getting. Look at their records. I read you the Big East. Now I'll read you the ACC. Duke is 8-1. Carolina's 9-1. Notre Dame is 6-1. Syracuse is 9-2. So they all have really good records. So they're beating all the other conferences up. So small.
And Syracuse has the best point. What is it? The RPI. Whatever. They have the best.
Yeah, and they have the strongest strength of schedule.
So that'll help them. That may come into play if they end up losing games. But looking at the
they
top
can lose
10
3 games
now,
and still make the playoffs to those teams, Vinny.
They can't lose 3 of their last games. They got UNC, UVA, and Notre Dame. If they lose to those 3 teams, they might not even make the ACC tournament.
That's true, but in all due
They don't make
respect,
the ACC
all those
tournament.
teams are playing within the league.
Then you don't get the 2 extra games.
No, I understand. I understand. Look, the top 10 is made
I
up
still
of
say they get
one
it. They got
team.
two.
You got Richmond that's in their conference. What's their conference, Stephen? What's their conference called?
ASUN.
Richmond.
ASUN.
Okay, so you got
ASUN.
one team in the top 10 from the ASUN, 4 from the ACC, that's 5, 3 from the Ivies, and 2 from the Big Ten. That's your top
Stephen,
10.
can you clarify that for the fans? What does that mean? You just made a statement. No one knew what you were talking about.
What?
You said ASUN.
ASUN. ASUN is a
ASUN
conference.
is the name of the conference.
I had fun. ASUN. What does it stand for? Atlantic Coast?
No,
What is it?
What does it stand for? I don't even know what it stands for. What does it stand for, Vin? There's the teams. Richmond's in it. Jacksonville's in it.
High Point.
High Point's in it. Who else? Some of those Mercer, some of those Southern schools. No, Air Force, Jacksonville, Bellarmine. No, that's not even, what am I saying? I'm saying they're in ASUN. They're not even in that one. ASUN's even a different one. They're in
No.
Atlantic 10. Richmond. No, which conference are they in?
They're in the Atlantic 10.
No, they're not in Atlantic 10 either.
No, 8-10.
Richmond
Atlantic
is.
10.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
Atlantic 10.
Yeah.
Geez, the one thing I have to.
So that's better because they were in that ASUN. They used to be in that ASUN, Richmond. I think they moved.
Yeah.
They didn't know.
And the one thing I fact check on you two guys, I gotta sit there. Maybe I'm the new fact checker.
You are.
Jiminy Cricket.
No, listen, it's
Because
Oh my
it's
Lord.
embarrassing that we don't even know what conference the number 1 team in the country's in.
That's what I'm saying. I know what they are.
that's
They're
Smalley's
gonna win it all.
Smalley's
You know,
trivia
they're gonna win
question,
Looked it up.
and he's right. How many people?
You looked it up.
How many people would know guys on Richmond?
Oh my God! Now I looked it up. He never gives me credit. Did I look up and say, "Hey, Steven, what are you saying about?" You sounded like A-Lop or something. I didn't know what you were saying. Atlantic Cup. First I said, "What are you?"
How many guys do you know on Richmond? Smalls.
You
Probably one.
Well, they got one Chaminade kid on there, Gavin Creo. The other there's a
There's got to be a Sullivan on there.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
look up their team, Stephen.
You wonder where they're getting all of these guys, Chamati, like he.
Well, there might be an investigation on this because someone said there's a guy 38 years old. That's a little.
There's a guy
What are you laughing
38.
at?
What are you talking about? A guy 38?
Yeah. Yeah. He went back to college at 31, 32.
Okay, so that could happen. There's been guys like that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
I don't know who they are. Luke Mayer, Mark Botek, Brody Murphy, Aiden O'Neill. That's Brennan's cousin. Aiden O'Neill,
that's the
Hunter
guy I
Smith,
told you,
I don't
Aiden
know.
O'Neill, yeah, he's a player. He's very good.
Talented, right, Ben?
they're an excellent team.
Yeah, no, listen.
Joe Sheridan, Charlie
You
Packers.
gotta say
We said
that
the
with
same
the
thing about
schedule,
them last year when we saw
the
them
real
playing
test
at
is
Hofstra,
going to be
and
when they
gave
play this weekend
Cornell
with
all
Notre
they can
Dame.
handle.
That's the real test.
They had that game, that was a battle.
Then we're gonna know. Then we're
That
gonna
really
know
was a
what's
battle.
what.
I just thought they ran out of gas a little bit. They weren't as deep as Cornell. And that guy. Oh, this is the guy you like, Lucas Littlejohn. You like Littlejohn? That's your guy, Smalls.
I love
Lucas.
Little John.
Lucas. Yeah, Gavin Creo from Chaminade. You got there. You mentioned right at the start different guys. You mentioned. Wait a minute. You said somebody else. Luke Meyer.
Hey, Vinny, he's got big numbers. Aiden O'Neill's got big numbers. Over 50 points for the year.
Yeah.
My God, this guy, Caden Creo. Joe Sheridan, yeah. Wow.
Well, they've been putting up a lot of goals. They
Oh
score.
my God, they have a lot of points, man. Yeah.
They're playing with confidence.
That's going to be hard.
Little
they're
John
playing
is a
in there.
finisher. Little John's got 25 goals and 2 assists. Where did Steven go?
Now he's out.
I don't know where he went. He left town. Maybe his battery went dead.
All right. God, he's out. Yeah. It's amazing how the phones work so good. Yeah.
Yeah, he was on his
Unbelievable.
computer.
Yeah, there's a team that
They
no one knows
shut down
anything
without
about, Richmond. The Spider.
Listen, I think they're happy just how they are. They just keep winning games. He's doing an amazing
Yeah.
job, and
Why worry about him?
he's got a couple. He's got a couple of very. I mean, look, he's got a win over Virginia. He's got a win over Cornell. He's got a win over Georgetown. Georgetown probably will win the Big East. Cornell has a chance to win the Ivy. And I don't know where Virginia will shake out, but those are three pretty impressive wins. They beat UMass. I mean, UMass is
He's
not
outscoring
terrible. Look what they
Vinny.
did to them. Yeah, look how they're
He's
scoring.
outscoring the opponents 42-14 in the second period. It's dismantling people.
Wow.
In the second period, they just mow over you. 42-14. First quarter, 36-22. And the third quarter, 34-16. Every which way you can do it. All right, they haven't played the top teams. I mean, but it's
Smalls, you make every day a joy.
Steven's trying to come back into the picture.
I think I'm back in the picture. I'm
Yeah,
trying.
I was surprised.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
I was surprised that one of the games I watched the Duke Syracuse game, but I was really watching that Virginia game. What happened, Steven?
I don't know. I
Where'd you go?
got bounced. I got a little too many windows open.
Wait, I heard a nice compliment about me. I want to know what it is. Smalls, you make every day a joy.
You make it, because you brighten up these teams' day. I hear every time I hear some, they say you put a smile on their face. That's the thing. That's what I get.
Yeah, well, Vinny was talking. Now you can make an argument. Who did they play though? Richmond hasn't played anybody. Basically, really.
You're playing
No,
Notre
they
Dame.
got three.
No, the division doesn't call for. Not like the ACC where they're battle tested between these games. I would actually make the argument like those teams are more battle tested in the ACC. They're playing each other, killing each other. But they do have a good win against Virginia. But that was early in the season, and then they only beat Cornell by one. So I'm just worried about them now. Like when they have to face some of these other teams, I think it's better to. They could have threw a couple of ACC teams in there in the beginning. I thought it would have bettered their. Bettered themselves by doing that. I really believe that.
Well, they had Maryland at this. Maryland was their first game, but it got canceled because of snow. That would have been, typically a strong game to be playing Maryland.
We know nothing about them. We don't know the coaches. We don't know anything about them. Amazing. They're the number one team in the country. No one knows anything about it. I can go to anybody. No one even knows the coaches' names, the players. That's great. What a world.
And
All the
Steven knows
experts
the
we
coach.
got.
Steven played with the coach.
Quietly, Aiden O'Neill will win the Heisman. I mean, the Tuarathon. This kid, they win the whole thing. This kid will win it. Are you kidding me? You got 10 games. I think so. Wait, I heard that some of the teams play 17 games. So you're telling me there's 9 games left? Wait. So 9, 17, and
No,
they got 8 games left. Some of the teams.
Their conference. Yeah, I just said before. Remember, I said most teams have 4 games left. Some have 5. It's either like 4 or 5 games left.
Total?
Some of them, if they're not a strong team and they're not going to make it
that's
to
for
the
their
tournament.
And then when they finish, when they finish those games, then
I
they'll
got you.
have the
Okay,
seeding for the conference tournaments. They'll do conference tournaments after
He's
that.
actually got a brother on the
And then they'll
team
seed
too.
everybody. Who does?
O'Neill has a brother on the team too. Evan O'Neill, pretty good. I think he's a freshman.
Strong team. So let's do a couple picks.
Go ahead.
And then we're going to add some during the week. We'll add some more during the week, but we might as well, while we're on, put some. I mean, it's just so rough. It's like everything.
Let me ask you a question.
So you guys can pick
Let
up.
me ask you one question. Can I ask you one trivia question about Richmond?
Go ahead.
A quick one. I know. We'll pick. You watched them last year, right? You watched them in the game. You were on the field. You guys are smart guys. Who is their sponsor? What uniforms were there? Who sponsors them?
It's the stuff.
You saw the uniforms. How good is your memory?
Reebok. Oh, I have no idea.
If I was getting killed, you couldn't even pick out the description of the guy that's killing me. I mean, come on, you guys are do flakes in the grass. You can't do nothing right.
Who was it?
It's sponsored by what?
Who is it?
You're in the business.
Adidas.
You're in
Adidas.
the business. I love that he gives you tests when he's looking at the thing on the screen. He asks us when he's looking on the screen.
I'm not looking at it. Jesus, a spider.
You're looking
Really, I
right
had
at
those
the,
good
you're
shirts you
looking
got to
right
get
at
last
their
year.
site.
Remember?
What are you talking about? You're on the Richmond
The
Lacrosse
spider.
site. You
Remember
think
that?
I don't know you're
Didn't
looking
I
at
give
the
a nice
Richmond
shirt?
Lacrosse site?
Wait, hold on, Vinny. But didn't I make up something special last year for the suite? I had the spider shirts. You don't remember, right?
I don't think
All right,
you
what do we
made
got,
anything
guys?
for Richmond.
Let me tell you this. The last thing I'll say about Richmond, Chamati's come a long way. I'm pretty sure it was him. When we were on the Storm and we went on one of the road trips, apparel guy, they gave us these really nice bags, equipment bag, but you gotta tuck the handles. You know how the handle has the little cuff that you can tie the handles together? Rookie mistake. I don't think Chamati tied the handles together. It got stuck in the baggage thing as the bags are coming out. I think it was actually him and Talmo. Both bags yanked open, ripped, underwear coming out, equipment, arm pads, mangled bags. I know it was
Definitely a
Talmo. I
rookie
think it was
mistake.
Chamati too. But Talmo wasn't a rookie, but he makes those mistakes anyway.
I think I got a bag that said Harvard on it today. I got to look. Did you get any Harvard gear?
I didn't get any Harvard gear. You got some Harvard gear?
I don't
I don't know. I saw a pat. I got to see.
All right.
Maybe it's a.
First game, Duke. Virginia plus 1.5 at Duke.
Oh, I'm taking Virginia.
I'm taking Duke.
Me, I'm taking Duke also. They just call me
Which
KOD, the kiss of
which
death.
probably means Virginia.
I am the kiss of
That's
death.
true. Why are you killing yourself with no confidence?
Yeah.
This guy was the best player ever lived in America.
I can't pick a game.
You can't ask him
I
anything.
can't pick a game. I'm being truthful.
It's hysterical.
So you can
Go
turn
ahead,
it
go to the
around in
next
1 week.
All right, the next one is at Hopkins. Penn State minus 2.5 on the road at Hopkins.
Penn State.
Make sure I write this down. You got Penn State, Smalls?
Yep.
Okay. Who you taking, man?
I'm going with Hopkins. They're going to rebound after that terrible, crushing loss they had. They're at home, you said, right?
Yeah. That's gonna be. I'm gonna go Penn State. I'm going Penn State. Gotta go with Ferrone.
Steven, go with Vinny. Come on.
You want to separate. You want to try to separate.
You can't do it. I know you're playing. It's not right. He's cheating, Steven.
Some of these ones, I don't even want to pick the ones that have point spreads of 7, and I only like the low ones. I only like the low ones in the big games. Oh, here's a good one. At Villanova, Denver minus 2 at Villanova.
Denver.
This is a tough one. I know.
I have no hesitation.
Go ahead, Vin.
I got to go with Denver, too. Villanova's erratic.
I'm
God,
going to take Nova. I'm going to say Nova's going to pull it off like we were in the snow. You remember we were watching that game?
Right.
Yeah, maybe by a goal and a half. Not that game is 2.5, though. You're right.
No, it's 2.
Wait, let me see. I might switch my thing. Can I switch my
It's
thing?
2, not 2.5.
Okay, I'll stay.
All right, here's another one. Here's out of the Patriot League. Loyola's home and underdog 2.5 to Boston University.
God.
I'll go first.
I'll take
I'm gonna
Boston
go with
University.
Charlie Cooney with Loyola. I'll take Loyola.
So Vinny goes BU. Wow, this is a tough one. I'll go BU.
My God, these clowns.
And then, here's the biggest game. I think there's a couple big games this week, and this is definitely one of them. Richmond at home, minus 1.5 against Notre Dame.
That's easy for me. I'll take Richmond. That's easy.
Okay, Smalley's on.
What'd you say? The game's at Richmond,
Go
Steve?
Notre
I know
Dame.
where
Come on,
Vinny's
Vinny.
going for sure. At well, it's in
Vinny,
Chicago.
Vinny, just
It's
go
a
Notre
home
Dame,
game.
Vinny.
It's at Chicago, though.
Well, I didn't hear
It's at Chicago.
the spread. What's the spread?
Home
I'm
game.
going Notre Dame, 1.5.
1.5. Richmond is favorite or underdog?
Go with Notre Dame, Vinny. Let me get a little spread on my victory here.
I'm taking Notre Dame. They're going to beat them.
Yeah, I
They're
love
going
it.
to
Yeah.
bounce back.
I can extend my lead here.
And then last but not least, Maryland is home -2 against Ohio State.
I'm going Maryland this week, baby. My boy Tillman is not done, baby. My boy is gonna win. I'm
Yeah.
beating him.
I'm
They're
going
going to get it
Maryland
together.
also.
I'll go with
That's a
Maryland.
Bush League league.
We're all three Maryland. We're all going with Maryland. We got faith
Three
until
You
the
hens
know
flock with a feather. What's that thing, Vinny? Three hens flock with a feather.
birds of a feather flock together.
What's your shout out?
Birds of a feather flock
Oh,
together.
this is great. Well, I'm gonna shout out to Nassau Community College. My man Richard Speckman, who called me on the phone 50 years ago and said, "Smalls, you made the team." I couldn't believe it. Also, the other coach, Dougie Hall. All my coaches, man, that year. We're having a reunion. On what day, Vinny? I gave you the 18th of, what's next month? March, May. March, May. March, March. May 18th, right? May comes after March. I forgot. What's after March here? Hold on.
No, it's April.
There
April.
it is.
April's the reunion. You got the
April.
reunion coming.
April.
You got the
April
reunion.
18th at 1 o'clock at
Yeah.
Nassau Community, 1 o'clock.
There you go.
Speck was saying goodbye, boys. Be there or be square. Don't miss it. He owns it. 23 national championships. No one's ever done it like Speckman in the world of lacrosse, what he did for Long Island and everything. Even Vinny at one time got asked if he wanted to be at Nassau Community College. I don't know if it was beneath Vinny, but he was thinking about it. Even Vinny got asked. So many great players went on all Division I colleges. It's a dream come true. So if you're out there, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock on the 18th. God bless Nassau Community
Well,
Lacrosse.
that's getting clipped out. My shout out. No, I'm saying I'm gonna have to get that out there. The word. We're gonna have to get them your invitation.
I'd like you to
All
show,
wrestlers.
Steven.
My shout out's gonna go out to Bonzo. I saw him out. Bob Boniello, the legend, the
Bonzo.
Maryland legend, Levittown legend. I saw him.
Levittown Division, greatest high school player to ever live.
I saw him out at a JV game at Kellenberg. It was freezing. I was in my car. I never got out of the car because I parked so I could see the field. And I only saw Bonzo when he came over. I couldn't even believe he was there. I said, you're at this game as cold as it is? He's a warrior. He could sit through anything, that Bonzo.
He's a if you stood Keith Richards and Boniello next to each other, you would know the difference. Someone asked me, "Did you play for the Rolling Stones? You look like Keith Richards." To the T. Hey, listen, we all grow old, man. I'm big and fat. I eat ice cream every night. Listen, we're all going to one place. It's the box.
So what he said was he wants to. I told him. He said, I guess he wants to. He hasn't been many games with us, which he always comes to a few games. I reminded him. I said, well, put it on your calendar for Cornell and Duke, because he'll want to come out there, maybe hit the tailgates a little bit.
Yeah.
Tell him to bring his drumsticks with him.
Right.
He's got to have his drumsticks.
So that's my shout out.
My
Shout
God.
outs to Bonzo. Vin?
What? Did Vinny say something?
I didn't
Sir
say anything.
Leg-a-lot. We got to wait for Sir Leg-a-lot. God, we're waiting for your shout out.
You ready for my shout
Who?
out? I'm shouting out Zuby Ejiofor for the St. John's Red Storm. The Storm.
Oh my God.
He was the best. He gave us 2 years of great basketball, played his heart out, brought a lot of excitement to Madison Square Garden, Conoseca Arena. He went out on his shield, played so hard. We love him. We love watching that guy. He's so good. And we wish him a lot of luck for the future. I think he'll be drafted to the NBA. Be nice if the Knicks had him. That's Smalley's guy. He loves his Zuby. That's his man. So I give Zuby
He was a very good person. Man. That's a good shout out, Vinny, I have to say. And the Syracuse, St. John's crew to go down to, oh my God, it was amazing, man. I thought they had him. I thought they had Duke beat. They were up by 10. Going into the second half. I just couldn't believe it. Oh my God. It was yeah.
Well, we
DC
gotta
was
look
great,
forward to
man.
next
Anyway,
year. All right, Steven, take
yeah,
us
he
out.
signed a 5-year deal.
We'll be
Yeah.
back next week. Remember, we'll get this up there. Make sure you follow so it automatically goes to your inboxes. Spotify, Apple. We're even on Amazon, Smalls. Amazon Music.
We're on everything,
YouTube.
man.
Wow.
We're on platforms. We're platforms.
I want to reach out to D. Tomasa next week. That guy's a legend. We haven't had him on in 2 years. Dito's a good guy to get
Yeah,
on.
we
Shy,
gotta
but we
get
get him
Dito
on. We
on.
got to get him on.
He's a
I
four-time
think we should
world
do one.
player.
I think we should do, Steven, I think we should do a podcast up at Hofstra again, up in the box, so we're all together,
Okay.
and it was better that way
That
when we're
sounds good.
together.
What day can we
All
get
right.
up there, Rich?
We got to see
I
who
don't know,
they're
we'll go to a
playing.
game. We'll go
All right.
to,
All
we'll
right,
go to
guys.
All right.
You guys are the
games. All right.
And they got a new field.
Am I carved up? Am I
They got
all?
new, keep
Do I have to keep my phone on,
See you
Steve?
next
yeah, keep it on, Smalls. Make sure you